Sat around one lazy day with nothing much to do. We ventured to the liquor store to grab a beer or two. We just ran out of bullets shooting targets with the gun. So Pickity grabbed the microphone and got on some friends for fun. That's how that got started, that's for sure to say the least. We're gonna talk to everyone that's from us in the east. That's how we roll with Pickity Pat. That's how we roll with Pickity Pat. With Pickity Pat. Yeah. Hello everybody, welcome to the Pickity Pat podcast. Today we're going to bring you episode number 2 with none other than Daniel Ross, hopefully on the phone. We're going to give him a shout. But before we start, I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to click the subscribe button down below. So here's a little bit of music to get you through. So that should have been enough time. Thanks for subscribing. Makes a big difference to us. Anyways, we're going to have Daniel Ross from the Antigonish area. Dan is the owner-operator of Screenprint. He's also the owner-runner of the Cabot Trail Bikers Group, where he takes bikers on tours of the Cabot Trail. Very interesting. We'll have lots of discussions about what it's like to be an East Coaster, including making things out of lobster traps, having your part in the community, skateboarding, the skate park, all that good stuff. So let's have a little listen. We'll give him a shout right now.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Daniel Ross.
How's it going? Is this Pat?
Yeah, this is Pat. What are you up to?
I'm just at work now. I'm doing some accounting or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, things are different for me right now.
When you say you're at work, are you at work with Ross Screenprint or are you at work with Cabot?
Yeah. Work with my business Ross Screenprint. Lots of changes here this year. We only have 8 staff and 2 are on mat leave. So that was a bit challenging. So I've got a new discipline this year. I'm doing more book work and whatnot.
You're the accountant.
I am the accountant, the bean counter. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing a lot more of these days.
Oh, awesome. You guys relocated too, hey?
Yeah, what a crazy year. Our business bought another building. And we sold our original location on January 10th, and we bought our new location on January 15th. So that's when, and then all the COVID stuff started in March, right? Oh, it's just, what a whirlwind year. But yeah. So what you're doing? Yeah, tell me about your podcast thing.
Yeah, so I had started doing podcasts probably about a year ago with the guitar on the mind. It was called Six String Sense, and I still do it. But I had some inquiries from other people saying that they wanted to be part of it, but they don't play the guitar, and they don't even really know what a guitar really is. So I started, and those people that were asking about it were very interesting people. So I was like, well, shit, I'll do one just based on something else. So I decided to make it based on the East Coast and the Maritimes. So I started reaching out and getting some people coming on the podcast that were either successful East Coast people or just interesting, just anybody who would really have a good type of story to tell. And I thought of you because I dealt with you, it must be 20 years ago plus when we had a grade 11 or 12 project in entrepreneurship. And I said, well, I'd like to make t-shirts, and you set us up with a bunch of t-shirts, and you got me to help out with the Highland Games one year, and I realized how much you're doing. You're quite involved with Saint FX, I believe, right? And all kinds of other places too. So Yeah, that's what the podcast is about. It's about the East Coast and the East Coast people. So,
Cool.
what do you find extra special about being in the Maritimes that you might think you may not have done as well in other parts of the country or the world?
Oh, geez, I don't know. When I started, when I made my first print machine was made out of parts from a lobster trap. I'm sure
Well,
that's a maritime-esque start to a t-shirt business.
that's as maritime as it gets, I think.
Um,
That's funny.
no, I did, I remember hearing a podcast. Actually, I was listening to a podcast about doctors, and they're saying it's hard to get surgeons. New surgeons are really good with their hands that have dexterity. And just saying, get a set of kids playing guitars like you, Pat, and building tree houses and doing stuff like that. They were just really advanced technologically, but not with the dexterity. And I guess growing up in the Maritimes, I had that, I worked in the woods, still do, as far as getting my firewood and out on the ocean on the boats and whatnot. And you're just always around gear and building things and stuff like that. So I did have a knack for stuff. And when I was 16, I built my first shop, which is still standing right now. So
Oh wow!
I started my business 30 years ago this month, actually.
Oh wow! Congrats, man.
Yeah,
That's a big achievement.
Yeah, so the garden shed's still in my parents' backyard. So that was my first thing I ever built. That was a building, I guess. I built it out of a skateboard ramp that blew over.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I recycled materials. Anyways, it still stands. It's cute. My parents put some board and batten on it, but they probably added a shingle or two to it. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was industrious. I think, I'm not saying everywhere else in the world isn't industrious, but I think on the East Coast, we certainly just being on the water and just being up in the woods and, you playing as kids on dirt bikes and stuff, you kind of break things, get stuck, have to problem solve. And that definitely had a lot to do with me starting my screen printing business, where I did basically everything. And everything I had to learn about running a business and stuff, I learned during grade 10. I took a course. And in grade 12, I took an accounting course and a business plan course. And I learned some skills just because I was so interested in being an entrepreneur,
Makes for great entrepreneurs in this area, doesn't it? When you're in survival mode, basically, your whole life. Businesses that are probably making out pretty good during the pandemic. I see that you're a sponsor for the Antigonish skatepark.
Yes.
How is that going these days? Jason Mason?
Jason.
Yeah,
he was a shot in the arm for sure. Jason, well, he skated pro, so he would have went to different parks all over. So he had a lot of knowledge about how they flow and how they work. And I think that helped a lot.
Okay.
And he's a firecracker, and he's pretty invested. He's got his business on the go now. And I think the only criticism anyone would have of the skate park now is that it might have been built too small. So I don't know if there's more room behind.
Oh, okay.
One of the things that really surprised me, I had no experience with skate parks. I did skate as a kid. I had a few ramps that I had built out in the country. So I know the sport, but what I was surprised by is the amount of really young children, like 2 years old, that would like to just roll on these pedalless bikes and they just like the movement and the feeling of motion. And they were return customers. I'd see them all the time. When I was skating early this summer, it was like I was like 46 and the average age was like about 5 when I went. It's hopping. It's busy. No one tagged it with graffiti. Everyone kept it really clean. There's a few kids that I met, and their dad said that every time they went out on the park, they would pick up trash just for a few minutes before they started, like little tiny cool ownership stuff that is kind of a surprise. I know when I was a skateboarder, I felt like that's why I did it at home, and that was it. Felt like you're on the fringe of society. And now the skate park looks really good in the town because there's, kids are dressed up all colorful, and their gears, equipment and all stuff is all colorful. It's kind of like when you drive by a ball field and there's a game on.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
kind of makes the town look a little bit more alive. So, and to tell you the truth, the skate park probably an intimidating thing for a town to put in. So I'm just so happy that the town and the county and everyone got together on making something so nice. And I'm in a lot of extreme sports, and what I enjoyed most about the skateboarding was it was like in skiing. You might ski 300 days before you ever get that one POW day where you're alone,
Yeah.
hopefully, and no one's around and you got it all to yourself. And when you go to a skate park, the conditions are perfect all of the time if
They
it's
are.
dry.
Yeah.
And it's like you're so spoiled. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I
It's
take
like
my
perfect
son there,
conditions.
and he
Oh, do you?
oh yeah, he loves it. Absolutely loves it. And he gets so much pride when he hits a jump or lands a trick or whatever. And he took some lessons from Jason, and
Oh, did he?
yeah, he's 11. And he can, man, way better than I've ever been. All in and
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, they progress so fast. Holy God, I can't believe it. I can't believe how fast they learn. Once they get one trick, it's just like a domino effect. They start racking them up.
Yeah, yeah. So you got the Cabot Trail biker thing too, don't you?
Yeah, that's
How's
an awesome little side gig of
yeah,
mine.
that's pretty cool. What do you guys
Yeah,
do?
no,
Like just go touring?
yeah. So what I like about it was 11 years ago. I used to have motorcycles as a kid, and then had a family and whatnot, and kind of took a break from them, and then got myself a cruiser motorcycle. And so my first time driving around the Cabot Trail with a bunch of guys, I was like, this is ridiculously nice.
Yeah.
And like I drove across Canada before by bike, but I still never did the Cabot Trail until I was a grown up.
Hmm.
And if that's what I'm considered now. And so I did it, and I'm like, God, there's no dealerships here, there's no whatever. And there was definitely people that were talking about the Cabot Trail for sure, but no one really you could talk to specifically about it. So I made a website, and it was immediate. I was the top rank on Google. I had people just spending time on the site, and
Nice.
the site was made. I made the website. I'm certainly wasn't good at it, so it kind of looked homemade. And but it was personal, right? And I urged
Yeah.
people just to ask me questions. And I used to volunteer as the chamber president here. And I remember going from Antigonish to Halifax to be at a Atlantic trade mission or whatever, talking about the port of Halifax, the proposed port at Melford, the port of Sydney, and we're all there with a whole bunch of political leaders and stuff.
Hmm.
And here I am, a kid from Antigonish, the Prince T-shirts. Am I really going to advance the world shipping lanes? Like maybe if I was more effective, that ship wouldn't have got stuck in the Suez this year.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just like, am I really being effective to promote Antigonish as a place to do business?
Yeah.
So those types of things I didn't feel as effective. I did make sure that, our Chamber of Commerce, would accept other types of looks of business people. So I was kind of a young kid at the time, so I was kind of bringing in the youth side, trying to make sure there was a changeover of volunteers so it had just a change up in representation all the time, and try to make it seem like the Chamber of Commerce wasn't an old boys club. That was my goal, and I feel proud of that.
No,
But when I
that's
got
really
to
good.
the Cabot, but when I went to the Cabot Trail biker thing,
Yeah.
there'd be people calling me and asking questions. I would make their entire vacation better just because I knew something. And it wasn't because I was any genius or whatever, but if I was going to go, if I went to Halifax right now by myself and spent 2 days there and came back, then that's one thing. But if I went with you and hung out, then you take them to the spot, to the spot, to the spot. And I'd have like good time, good meal, good place out,
Yeah.
the best breakfast, all that type of stuff.
Not gonna go down
Or
any
I'd
dark
walk to the
alleys
coolest
and
spots.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically all I was doing was giving a little bit of local knowledge and letting people call me. And what happened was, and then I said, the whole thing, ask me anything, please, please, please. And if you don't mind, buy one of my T-shirts from a certain restaurant. And I met these guys on the Cabot Trail that were really cool, ex-grads and young guys just took over this restaurant, and they made no commission off the t-shirt sales.
Oh, wow.
But they got motorcyclists that showed up at weird times. So for a restaurant, they were getting individual payers. So, I mean, that's good for the wait staff as far as tipping goes.
Yeah.
They got people that always like to have, usually like having a beer. So that was, they'd have a little extra sale there. Yeah. They were adults, so they ate big meals. They weren't off the kids menu, and they would show up at any time of the day. So like if you're a restaurant, you'd love to have tables show up at 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah.
And so it worked out good for them. It worked out good for me. And then a promise I made was to donate $500 a year to a charity that Americans love, trying to give back to all the Americans that come up to the Cabot Trail.
Right.
And I've done that. I've raised over $21,000 so far for American veterans.
Holy wow. Good job.
Yeah. And I go every September 11th for the rest of my life. I made a promise that I would hand deliver the check. So this year we actually took the check to the border. So I kept my promise because I said I would take the check to the US. We went to, but we didn't go in.
Right.
And the check was not hand delivered. I guess we missed there, but excuse me.
You went pretty far considering COVID.
Plans. We tried our best. We could have tried, we could have got shot at the border. That's why we just decided to live.
Should have made a big paper airplane out of it and threw it across.
Yeah, I have a drone. I was thinking about tying it to it. I'm like, no. It would have been cool.
You better take a video of that.
Yeah. Shit. So I did that for a bit. I did that for 10 years. And then I did a cool show with Harley Davidson. Yeah. And I didn't mean to do it. They didn't have someone picked. You had to win a contest to be a host or something. Right. And then I was giving them advice on how to do the show. So I was speaking to the writers type of thing, the producers. And they said, hey, would you do it? And I'm like, yeah, right around the Cabot Trail. So I got to do that for Harley. And then one of the crew members said to me, he goes, you should do a tour. This should be a tour. This is a blast. I know we're in a van working, but so I started doing a tour, and the tour sold first year, second year, and third year. And the third year was 2 years ago because it was canceled. It was, delayed. And then this year's is delayed. So we're going in 2022.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
For the third version. So like I make the swag for the tour. So everyone's like, Cabot Trail Tour 2020. And then it says 2021. Then it says 2022. There we go. That's when we're going. Yeah.
Where do you leave from, Antigonish?
No, we meet in Arishat in Cape Breton on the other side. Yeah. And we just do a little tour. There's kind of a nice spot in Almadam where I went to school for a year. Do a little tour there, less traffic, a little bit more intimate, kind of get to know people and riding or whatever. Then we head over to Sydney because it's easier highway driving. And then we do a tour of Goat Island and meet our Mi'kmaq. I really like doing that. I really like meeting, when people say, oh, I just want you to know that we're on unceded territory of Mi'kmaq Nation and stuff. Yeah. I don't say any of that. I let that happen. So they go there and they're like, oh my God, your relatives were here 13,000 years ago. So they get a sense of the place. And it really kind of, when I have people from all over the world from different financial places and stuff, it just really kind of raws them down. It's like, okay. And then I also think that when they're hearing about how people used to deal with the land and how they used to move around with the fishing and the hunting and stuff, it just kind of makes them kind of more attentive to nature and relaxes them. So I always start off with a tour with the Mi'kmaq, and then we do the trail after that. It's an awesome start. And then we go to Celtic Key in Waikagama, spend most of the times there, and then spend the week just on the trail. Right. Go lobster fishing at like 3:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That'd be a real cool tour to go on. So you say those are basically always Americans, are they, that come up?
Yeah, I have a few Canadians. I've always had like a few. This year there was going to be 10 or 11 people, and there's 2 guys from Ontario. So it's mostly Americans, yeah. And so we'll see. It's going to change a little bit. And I also get writers to come with me. So journalists from motorcycle magazines or whatever. So I give a discounted rate, and then, the tourism agency will pay part of their thing, so they write and take pictures of Cape Breton.
Oh, nice.
So if you ever see a TV commercial or a magazine ad with beautiful photos of photographer of motorcycling, it's probably the bikers that I take on my tour, and then we send them off for a day usually, or half a day, with photographers and videographers.
Oh, nice.
And then they do all that stuff together, and they'll get their images for magazines, and then the island will get their images for the TV commercials and print ads and stuff. So it's all about promoting the island, and and I do it for free, so it's kind of nice that they reward me with the involvement as well, because I do it out of the kindness of my heart. So it's nice to have the support from Cape Breton.
Yeah, that's cool.
Especially as a mainlander, right? It's so
right.
embraced.
Yeah. Us mainlanders, we like Cape Breton an awful lot.
We do, and then it's like, sometimes we're just jealous we can't say we're Cape Breton, sometimes,
Yeah.
So
I always say, well, I can see Cape Breton every morning I wake up. I look out the window and I see it.
I don't think they'll let you count it.
No. Oh, God, no, they won't. Yeah, if in Mainlander, they'll go. But they're nice enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, Dan. Well, this turned out to be a real good podcast.
Cool. All right.
Nice, man. Well, thanks a million for coming on the podcast, and it was great talking to you.
Cool.
Well, once I get her up, I'll let you know, and you'll probably see it anyways. But it'll be a good show.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, thanks, Pat.
Cool, Dan.
I'll talk to you later.
Take care, brother.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the second episode of the Pickity Pat podcast. Big thanks goes out to Daniel Ross for joining us for a little bit of a phone call and giving us all kinds of valuable information and having a bit of a laugh and a chuckle. So if you're interested in being on the show, it only takes a phone call. We'll be on with you as long as you want, short as you want. Doesn't really matter. As long as you got a good East Coast story and maybe some kind of successes that you've been involved with on the East Coast and some challenges you may have overcome. Anyways, DM us. We'll give you a phone call, or you can give us a phone call. Either way, we'll hit the record button and publish you on the Pickity Pat podcast, YouTube, all kinds. We got Anchor. We'll put it all kinds of places. So, anyways, stay cool, stay on the East Coast, stay safe. Cheers. Sat around one lazy day with nothing much to do. We ventured to the liquor store to grab a beer or two. We just ran out of bullets shooting targets with the gun. So Pickity grabbed the microphone and got on some friends for fun. That's how back that started, that's for sure to say the least. We're gonna talk to everyone that's from us in the East. That's how we roll with Pickity Pat. That's how we roll with Pickity Pat. With Pickity Pat. Yeah.